With the price swings and power level of the last Magic the Gathering standard release, Karlov Manor, still fresh in players' minds, it's time to look forward to Outlaws of Thunder Junction. As of the recording of this video, the set releases in almost exactly 1 month's time. And with prices holding steady, things on the surface look fine. But when you peek behind the curtain at the sell-through rate and the number of products that people like you and I, fans of the game, are actually buying, it looks a bit more dire. So it's time to ask the question, once again, is Outlaws of Thunder Junction doomed, or is there something else going on? Since I have been covering Magic the Gathering on the channel, it's been in a weird spot. And I want to start this video by saying Magic is my favorite card game. I love Magic the Gathering. 99% of all the content I make is about Magic the Gathering, and it is the one game that I play consistently on almost a daily basis if you count digital Magic. But Magic standard releases for some time now have been in, well, let's call it a weird spot. They seem like Commander sub-releases or Commander mini-releases, and the product doesn't really have a place to go, with most of the power and fun and exciting things being brought to us, regular people, in premium products. But I do want to say there's hope for the standard model. When we think of Magic the Gathering and people who play the game, and one of our main concerns or problems with the system, it's almost always the price. We don't like paying these inflated prices, and because of that, standard set should be a little beacon of light, a little area of hope where fans get to have the product, buy the box off the shelf, and not spend too much money doing so. But in 2024, since the addition of the Play Booster and the tradition into this 2-box series of Play and Collector Booster, Magic the Gathering, well, the standard sets haven't exactly been thriving, so it's time to evaluate the number of boxes sold on TCG Player. That's right, we collect all of that data here, supported by channel members, and if you like stuff like this, make sure you click that subscribe button, and we have to ask the question. We are 1 month out for release. This used to be a very popular buying time. What has changed, and is the set in trouble, or is the ecosystem just different? Now, to answer some of these questions, we have to look at online marketplaces where these cards are being purchased, and of course, we're going to head over to TCG Player. Now, this website is a popular place for people to go and purchase Magic sealed product, and we have collected over 250,000 sold records from TCG Player over the last year for various Magic the Gathering sets. You can view all this data that we're going to look at cardboardfinance.com, and later in this video we're going to visit that ourselves and take a look at some product trends. But as we were saying in the introduction, on the surface, things look to be pretty fine. We see Outlaws of Thunder Junction Play Boosters holding steady at around $131, where they seem to have bottomed out. We know from Karlov Manor this may or may not be the case, and we still have time before release, but on its surface, this is a fine price, I guess. I will state again that Magic, the ecosystem, is broken. Game stores are paying too much for product through distribution. They don't have the ability to make enough money. That out of the way, 131 boxes for a play booster. When you compare the number of packs to a previous set booster, it's not all that bad. I would still like to see it around the $120 mark, and with stores the ability to make money at that price point, but this is the world that we live in. But it's more than just the price of the box on the surface. As we start to look at the different products that we can buy, we notice some weird trends. If we were just going to come here and evaluate price, we'd be like, wow, this is extremely healthy. Look, the collector booster is holding at a price above what regular collector boosters have normally hold at, with the exception of Ixalan. Ixalan popped off and is still popping off. I should make a channel member video about Ixalan. Maybe that'll come out this week. I might do that, because Ixalan's a lot of fun to talk about. But all in all, on the surface, these prices look like they should be okay. It's like, hey, $130 for a play booster, $223 for a collector booster for a standard Magic the Gathering release. A little inflated, a little high, but hey, we're still in pre-release and this should be okay. But it's when you peek behind the curtain that things get a bit dire. So as we head over to cardboardfinance.com, the website hosted by me at Hometown TCG and helped paid for by the channel members here, and we look at the actual information, the number of products that have sold and what products have sold, things get, well, they get a bit more scary, as we have sold not quite even 1,000 boxes for Outlaws of Thunder Junction, the majority of which come in a pack of 4 of the Commander deck set. These numbers are insane. This is a crazy low number for Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So while the prices remain fairly steady, if we were to take, let's say Outlaws of Thunder Junction, the set we're talking about, and compare its pre-release, which mind you isn't over, so there's some more boxes that will be sold. This will look better. I have a prediction about this later in this video. Don't go anywhere before that. But if we were to compare it to what we would consider a fairly failed Magic the Gathering release in Karlov Manor's pre-release, this is just pre-release information for these two products, and we see Karlov Manor is blowing this out of the water by almost a factor of 10. This comparison, this gap, this difference is insane. And again, on the surface, there's something deeper going on here in my opinion, but even with things going on, a factor of 10 difference with a month to go in pre-release seems absurd, but I don't think it's all lost. For those who know, this is not a doom and gloom YouTube channel. That's not what we do here. I want to use these numbers to add context and notice when our community starts to make various shifts. And I think there are things at play here that are making Thunder Junction sell, let's call it differently, to avoid negative connotation than previous Magic the Gathering releases. And the first is going to be the spoiler season, the release cadence, and how Wizards of the Coast is disseminating information to us, the people who are fans of this game. As we know, spoilers haven't even started for Thunder Junction. That's right, official card leak spoilers and such is not something that have hit our community yet, and more often than not, as fans of the game, we have so much to chew on. We have Fallout, that was a massive success recently. I'll link a video somewhere here as long as I remember talking about Fallout and how good it was and how many boxes we, the community, went through. So we're coming off of that, and also we have the ability to kind of wait out the market. Most of the time, Magic the Gathering product comes out and drops in price at least a little bit, and even if it doesn't, very rarely is that product so rare that we can't say, oh, it didn't drop in price, we can go back and purchase this later. So between not knowing the cards in the box, which is more and more important to us, the fans, we are so much more interested in the result than we are the pack opening experience, because the price has gotten to be so high. We want to wait for that information. And this is new. This is not how Magic has always been, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I wouldn't be surprised in the next week to see these prices, I wouldn't say skyrocket, but probably come down, but sell-through rates and the number of boxes we purchase to go up. This is just how we are existing in the space nowadays. But there are other factors too, and I think for the first time, oh, by the way, if you're here for this take, make sure you subscribe and look in the link below. I'll pin a comment. I just started the Discord with channels for all these games, and it's open to the public. Anyone can join. We have just a couple people filtering in. The announcement went out last night, and we're trying to get 50 members in the Discord by the end of the week. So if you like conversations like this, you like to have chats about TCGs, click the Discord link. It's free. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I think there's something else at play that I haven't talked about for a while, and the big takeaway here is there are finally viable other options for consumers to spend their hard-earned money on. And yes, I know there have always been other games and there are always other indie TCGs, but for the first time in a long time, we are seeing several other major players step into the space. And by that I mean experienced game designers or games with such strong IP behind them that it naturally draws some kind of attention. And yes, we are talking about the One Pieces, the Disney Lorcanas, and even the Star Wars Unlimited. These games are taking some attention away from Magic the Gathering. And I'm going to stop you right here. I am not saying these games are taking over Magic. I am not saying these games are taking over Pokemon. That is not happening. Magic and Pokemon are so much larger than these games by a factor that I can't even fathom, that it's not even funny. But it would be silly to say that Magic fans and people like us aren't spending our money on some of these other boxes. Heck, I have some cases of Star Wars Unlimited that I'm opening for channel members. Again, get in the Discord if you want to get in on that sale as a channel member, and there is a vast amount of interest in that. There always has been in Lorcana, and One Piece is so rare, and the gameplay does seem to be so exciting that people are pulled in that direction. So I do think that Magic the Gathering is in a weird spot. It isn't offering consumers a consistent way to get boxes at a price that they deem to be acceptable, and they are spending their money on premium sets. So I think we're finally seeing that wallet fatigue, or that cool down in spend, when we spend a bunch of money on a product and think, I can afford to miss this. And then take into consideration the fact that we know another Magic release is coming around. It doesn't have the luster, it doesn't have the lure of, I have to get involved in this because it's going to be 4 months before we get another Magic release, and I just have to play some Magic. No, we know next month we're going to get another one. We're going to get Modern Horizons 3 eventually. We got all this stuff coming for us, so a little bit of that pull, that urgency, that FOMO, if you will, is gone from the air. And these are all interesting aspects, but all in all, I don't think Outlaws of Thunder Junction, I keep saying Outlaws at Thunder Junction, Outlaws of Thunder Junction is necessarily doomed or terrible. I am actually way more excited for the set than I thought I was going to be. Initially, I was on the train of, it's just Magic people in cowboy hats, what do I care? But I gotta admit, I'm being pulled in by the theme quite a bit. So I really think there's room to grow for this set. We will be tracking it up to release and through release. So if you want to follow that information and be notified anytime that I update us on Outlaws of Thunder Junction, or you want to share those thoughts with me, click the notification bell, join the Discord, all that fun stuff, and let me know your thoughts. Do you think Outlaws of Thunder Junction is in a terrible spot? Is the set going to do extremely poorly, or in your opinion, is there room for turnaround? Let me know in the comments section below. I will reiterate again, I think we're going to see a lot more boxes sell leading up to release. There's been no incentive to buy up to this point. We've been distracted by other things, but I really do think there's some room for growth here, but I am worried about what the ceiling looks like on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for hanging out. If you've never shared a Hometown TCG video, click that share button, share this video on a social media platform, because it makes me smile when I scroll through and I see my videos up there. I'm just a real person in these feeds like you all. So thank you so much for hanging out. Until next time, you know me. My name is Josh, and we will see you around. All right, goodbye.